I think you ought to know. About Men's Radio. The place where men and women really speak. Oh man, what a show. It's Men's Radio. This crazy show is on 3 times a week. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, it won't cost you no dough. Men's Radio, that's the place for you. With Russ, Kane, and Phil Dave.
Night, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us. I'd like to close with a beautiful ballad now, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of my favorites. I hope it's one of yours. Take it away.
As Ken Dodd used to say, I'd like to finish now with a sad ballad.
Is that what he used to say?
He sometimes used to say.
Well, and it's whatever the week is. It's Monday. It's the 8th of March. And welcome to the 12 o'clock handicap stakes from Kempton Park. Looking a little bit skittish there. It's Melanie Hutchins in the colours of Her Majesty the Queen, just being helped into the stalls. Angela Lee in the sheepskin noseband there. Good afternoon to you. Barry J. Allen, who's just being helped in there. And Eve Phantom. And crazy name, crazy girl. Hello, everybody. Peeps, it's Tin Man Rao. Used to be a policeman, and now he's in the film industry. How'd that happen? Martin Allen. Hi, guys. At the start of the week, and, happy Women's Day. Well, frankly, every day is Women's Day on Women's Radio Station.
And let's not forget Ramsey also says good afternoon.
Where's that? I missed that. Oh, sorry. Good afternoon. Gee. You know what? The most appropriate line for that is, well, you started it.
Do you know what? I
have never read so much shit in my life.
I cannot believe that they haven't even broadcast that blooming interview. Well, they have in America, but they're not broadcasting it here yet. And seriously.
Crap. Anyway, what I'm annoyed about is I've had to postpone Unforgotten. Sadly, they're not forgotten. The pair of them. I don't honestly. Somebody was messaging me from a former royal household saying, "Would you like me on the show?" And I actually said, "I don't think I could keep my temper. I'd love to have you as a guest, but I don't think I could keep my temper on it." Well, Angela Lee, please don't mention it.
I thought that was very measured of you. May I just say, by the way, you are listening to a brand new week here on Men's Radio. It is The Daily Show with him, Russ, with me, Phil Dave, and we're live with you until 1 o'clock this afternoon, right across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, mensradiostation.com, Deluxe Radio, and Radio Waves. There's loads of choice. Oh, and of course the Men's Radio Station app.
Are you seeing that?
See, if you see visuals, Russ is holding up a t-shirt that says Men's Radio Station. It's radio for grown-ups. And if he holds it up a little higher, you'll also see that he's modeling the contact details, mensradiostation.com and at mensradiostn. What more could you possibly want? By the way, if you are listening on Radio Waves or indeed Deluxe Radio or mensradiostation.com, don't forget that you can watch the show as well. Oh, yes, in its Technicolor glory. I just did, oh, yes, in the style of the Churchill dog. Did you notice that? That was completely subliminal. That was shocking.
Oh, there's a drumming channel that I followed called Seamus 66 is an American thrash metal drummer, and he goes, "Oh, yeah."
That was
the thing the Americans do is amazing. He's got hair down to his waist, and he's a very, very good percussionist. It just makes it look easy. He's a very, very good drummer, as it happens, and a big beard, hair down to his waist.
When you say hair down to his waist, what you mean is that his back is covered with hair. Yes?
No, I don't mean that. You fool. I'm coming on to you in a minute. I've got a bone to pick with you. Bone being the word. Ruff, ruff.
By the way, can I
hang on? No. Wait. And I love
facebook.com/men's radio station.
I love the way the Americans go. So he looks like this guy until it comes time to promote his sponsors, and then he becomes as slick as you like. Only the Americans can do that. They can switch from being a thrash metal drummer to being a really slick salesman in the blink of an eye. Angela Lee, grown-ups, I better leave. Well, it was just a thing. Our actual strap line, which I came up with Howard Jameson, my business partner, was, where men really talk. But I thought, I'm so sick of being A, mollycoddled and B, talked down to all the time. I just thought it's radio for grown-ups. Grown-up people can come here and have a... But what are you doing? You're taking pills? You're doing drugs? What are you doing now? Hand sanitizer. Where have you been, you dirty swine? What have you been doing?
I just had to clean the pipes.
What? You cleaned the pipes?
Yes.
Is your mother's back to smoking a pipe again? Half an ounce of ready rubbed shag? Olive, oh, sweet peep.
After one has a little clear out session from the schnoz, not wishing to be too.
Oh, Jesus. Can you stop? Let's get on to something that I've got a bone to pick with you. Phil, don't know your middle name, Dave.
You are going to highlight these things. It's not what I have to tell you.
Well, I can't help you sitting there, suddenly.
Sanitizing my hands after blowing my nose. I think that's very sensible in this day and age.
Oh, God. Anyway, Phil does a post over the weekend, yesterday.
Oh, I see what you mean. A bone to pick with you. I get it now.
Bone. See, it's a canine thread.
Ah.
And I thought, yes, Deluxe Radio listeners are missing out on Phil cleaning out his pipes. Thank you, Richard Todd. Angela Lee, love the smell of pipe smoke. I hate it because it reminds me of being at boarding school and the most vicious masters smoke pipes, so I can't do it. Love cigar smoke, of course.
Oh, God, no. Pipe smoke stinks.
I don't like it. It reminds me of two revolting teachers who were there. They were absolute bastards. Lloyd, Raymond Beanie, Canine, a horror. Very good. So we're getting on to Phil's story, why I'm annoyed with him. And I'm never normally annoyed, but I really was pissed off, be honest. So he does this thing, holding a picture of him and a dog. And as we know, he's got Monty and Carlo, who we love, who are part of the show, part of the gang. Mm-hmm. And the way it reads is that one of them's died.
Doesn't say Monty or
Carlo. I try to phone him, doesn't pick up the phone. And people are piling, oh no, Phil, it's not even his blooming dog. It's some random person's dog.
It's not a random person, it's a friend. And I make absolutely no apologies whatsoever because
you should, because you upset a lot of people.
I was upset, damn it.
Yeah, it's all about you, isn't it, Megan?
You
did this thing. Well, we couldn't see the picture properly. I thought it was Monty or Carlo, and I thought, oh my God. So I phoned up my phone to this friend. Oh no, Phil's dog's died. She gets all upset. It wasn't even their dog. Their dog's fine.
Sorry, can I just point out, excuse me, that if, by the way, that you're that sort of concerned about it being Monty or Carlo, if you'd posted another photo of another schnauzer that didn't look anything like Ebony, first and foremost, it wasn't even the same breed. This dog wasn't a sausage dog. It was enormous. It looked like a sausage. It looked like a sausage dog. Lisa Janes, hello both. Cuddly chimp is called Dave. Okay, you lost me, Lisa. You've got a chimp. It's your boyfriend. What's the deal? Cuddly chimp is called Dave. Do you have a chimp? What's going on there? Angela Lee. I didn't smoke pipe. Drank lots of communion wine, though.
Yeah, fancy another wafer with that? No, I'm full. No, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'm all right.
I hope they are.
Hey, Deluxe Radio, you won't be able to see this, but I hope
they answered none for me. Hey!
What's their favourite wine? Blue Nun. Now, I trim my beard. I thought I was looking a bit too Captain Birdseye, a bit too Ernest Hemingway. So
the Holy Spirit.
I took it right down. I just shoved my head in a Flymo. Seems to have done the trick there.
Wow. You should see what they meant when they said the Holy Spirit.
Paul Wins number 5, the Holy Spirit. Right. How was your weekend? Let me tell you my Sunday. I like Holland House tobacco. Do you chew it, Andrea? Do you have spittoons? Potato. Sorry, do it again. It was too good to miss.
Thank you, baked potato.
Do you think Andrea Lucas goes around the house going, yeehaw, bing, bing, bing? I bet she does that. You got any of that chewing tobacco?
I would like to advocate. I know this is radio for grown-ups, but it's not necessarily the done thing in this day and age in any broadcast industry to encourage anyone to either smoke or indeed use tobacco of any description. So,
you smoke. Do you really smoke in a pipe? I got a whole new vision of Andrea Lucas with half an ounce of ready rubbed shag in a big meerschaum.
Wow. I have
actually. Really? That's so weird.
I seriously had no idea. I've known Andy for a long time and had no.
Hang on. Technical question from Lloyd Raymond Beanie. This one's for Phil. Is there a reason one can't post a photo as a comment on your Facebook feed? I don't know. Over to you,
Very
Phil
good.
Dave.
Well, you'll be pleased. It's a very good question. And actually, this is a problem that is only pertaining to Lloyd Beanie. We've had it on good authority from our solicitors that it's the way to go, just in case of any little mishaps. So we hope you understand, but anyone else is welcome to post photos. So
Can he or can he not pass the...
I've no idea. I've never tried. So let's have a look and see. Should we see?
You do that. Andrea Lucas says she doesn't... update. She doesn't walk around the house with a big meerschaum pipe. Potato. No, but my number one husband did. Doesn't even have a name. She just gives them numbers, like the prisoner. Who are you? I am number 2. You are number 6. Ed Grossman. Hi, Ed. Happy Tuesday. One and all. Good afternoon. And Angeli Old Holborn with a licorice paper for me. I know nothing about pipe tobacco. Zero. But
in response to Lloyd Beanie's question, by the way, no idea. Yeah. I'm afraid that's not deliberate. I'm not entirely sure why. It's obviously a change in Facebook policy or something like that, because it usually boils down to that. We were saying before, we can't actually even share the post in the way we used to anymore either.
Why is that? Yes. Normally, I would go onto our men's Facebook and then I'd share it onto my own page. And weirdly, I can't do it. I simply can't do it anymore. I have no idea why, but they've changed the configuration of Facebook. Who knows? I do have a Zoom call with Mark Zuckerberg at 1:15, so I'll ask him. He never makes a move without asking, Phil for technical stuff and me for sort of marketing and copywriting.
It's true. A lot of people don't realise that we're quite high up in Facebook's Facebook's list of don't go anywhere near. So.
Facebook. Well, Lloyd, I'm speaking to Zuko at 1:15. If you could phone him beforehand, we can solve the... can you imagine? Hey, Mark. Hi. Beanie. Yeah, BEI. Yep. No. Hazel's fine. No. Yeah, all good. Yeah. No, I've got the smoked salmon. It's in the fridge. When you're coming around, that would be the conversation with Lloyd and Mark Zuckerberg. Richard Todd. It would have been so nice to see some different photos on Facebook today, other than the...
Wow.
Me again and the Ginger Whinger. The gruesome twosome. God almighty. What a car crash. Anyway, there we are.
I thought he was describing us as the gruesome twosome. That's all right. Then no, you're quite right. Well, in that case, we're a different pairing of photos. That'll do.
Lloyd Beanie's so clever. He's just put up his name. I don't know, with no comment.
He put up a comment, ha. But you can't.
Oh, I haven't got that.
You can't see it because it's an emoji.
Oh, look who's rocked up. And I don't know what those things are. Oh, they're little hearts.
They're little hearts.
Hello, guys, says Linda Dave. Do you know her? I don't know who she is. Sure. The front page of the Daily Star today is, if you're watching something, it's got a picture of the gruesome twosome with their eyes blanked out, and it says the very private pair. When they're trying to keep identity. And they have a free sick bag by royal appointment. I know it's taking it to the absolute limit, but in a kind of strange way, Well, what did I say weeks and weeks and weeks ago, Philip? What did I say that she would play? What did I say?
Netflix?
No. What did I say about the interview?
Oh, I see. Oh, no. Play the race card. Shock horror.
What did I say weeks and weeks and weeks ago? And the one thing I would say, I'm not going to, I really promise you, I'm not going to get into it because I can't keep my temper about it. And there's no point. You won't convince people one way or the other. Some people on my Facebook page went absolutely raving mad at me and, said it, this, that, and the other. And majority of people, hundreds of others, agreed. But here's the thing. It's so easy to say absolutely anything if you know that the person you're attacking won't reply. Because they can't reply. It's so easy. It's not so easy to pick an argument with somebody and say anything you like, and then you wait for them to reply with irrefutable proof. What is that?
The Daily Star went up in my estimation, says Richard Todd, when they signed up Pat Sharp for a weekly column.
Woo, woo.
That would certainly explain why whenever there's a conversation about mullets, that they have him on the front page.
Oh, it's great. He is the king of mullets. It is fantastic. From one hairstyle, he's had a career. He is the nicest man. Pat is as nice as you would. Pat Sharp and his family are as nice as you would possibly hope they would be. He's just such a lovely guy. I'm very, very fond of him.
I can't connect to his family, but I certainly have worked with him once.
Oh, Monica, his wife, is hilarious. The kids are so gorgeous. They're so ridiculously good looking. And they have, I don't really bang on about other people's kids because why would I? But he has the most cute granddaughter. I've never seen such a gorgeous baby and toddler in my life. Here we go. The race card, is that a reference to the 2:30 episode? Good afternoon. John Rickman here. Q Russ Racing commentary. Ed Grossman, I'm gonna tell you why, Ed, in a minute. Ed Russ, I watched Suits for ages and ages, didn't have any idea she was mixed race until I heard LBC droning on about it. On her over here would have an equity card or the stage photo, you know, and I don't know if it's SAG, which is Stage Actors Guild, or something, SAG. I don't know what it is in America, but when it does ethnicity, she was Caucasian. Put that in your meerschaum and smoke it. Put that in your meerschaum and smoke it. Martin Allen, she'll pay for it in the end. She won't. The Royals don't. She won't. She won't. I take no pleasure whatsoever in this. It was just so blindingly obvious what was going to happen. And what will happen is eventually she'll dump him and marry some tech billionaire or huge film producer or something like that, or Mark Zuckerberg or whoever. He'll be sitting there looking like Mr. Nobby No Mates. How do I know that? What? How do I know what? What I just said, because I read it. Seriously. That's why people were so amazed when she started banging on about it, Ed, because she never bothered to mention it before. So the Royals don't forget or forgive. No, they don't. But it should be off and running. It should be off to the races. It won't make any difference to her whatsoever. And he is going to come a cropper. Said Monroe, you would look dreadful with a mullet.
Isn't that a type of fish?
It is. It is.
So I reckon that Sen could cook up a mean mullet.
Oh, don't keep carping on about it. One thing about Sen, he knows his place. Richard Todd, I can't believe the comment. You see, I just read it carefully.
Found the right button.
That is funny. I can't believe the comment she claimed about the family's concern over the colour of the baby's skin, which is just bullshit. I'd have been more concerned that it may have been ginger.
What I find absolutely staggering is the fact that that's even a conversation.
Sorry, that's very funny.
I don't actually even believe that. I really, I mean, I know that the royal family, in particular certain members of the royal family, have, shall we say, had a bit of an interesting view in the past when it comes to their views and some comments pertaining to race and creed and stuff like that. But I don't believe in this day and age they'd even think of saying that. I really don't. I think what they'll find they were more annoyed about is that she was married into the family in the first blooming place, frankly.
Let's not forget who walked her down the aisle with pride on his face. He didn't have to. And I thought it was a very magnanimous, lovely thing to do that Prince Charles did that. And does anybody else know anyone who gets married and all you can invite is your mum? Anybody? You must have friends. You must have some cousins, some neighbours. Her mum. Oh, of course, Oprah, who she'd met once. And George Clooney, who I think she'd met once.
Well, it turned out that it paid off quite well, actually, to keep him keep in with that.
But Oprah. Don't even get me started about Oprah. You see, I tell you what upsets me about this. Let's get away from them as people for a second.
This is much more about how it actually makes people react, and I can't believe how angry people are getting. And I think that that's far more important to what we do and what we talk.
I'm angry. I'm very angry because it's hurtful and it's not true.
I couldn't care less about her. I couldn't really care less about them as a couple. But what I do care about is
I don't care
that it's having on people getting so wound up about it.
This is what manipulative Phil. There's so many. Let's just bring it back to mental health, which is what this radio station and women's radio station is all about. Let's just bring it back to why we started all this and why we work our backsides off to try and make it work. Number one, people are very angry, and they're angry because they see the blatant untruth and unfairness of the situation. Number one. Number two, you have Her Majesty the Queen, who has said, whatever you may think, if you're not a royalist, that's fine. That's fine if you want Tony Blair as your president. But Her Majesty the Queen, since 1953, when it was foisted upon her on the sudden death of her father, has served this country selflessly. And to be besmirched like this is just disgraceful. Number three, in just terms of being human, if your grandparents were 99 years old and very ill, and in their 90s, you would show them. If you were running a sweet shop on the Old Kent Road, you would show grandparents of that age some respect, some love, because how much longer do people who are 99 years old, how much longer will they be around? You don't use grandchildren as hostages. And the other thing is, this is what, and then I'll come on to why we're angry in mental health. This is what really deeply manipulative people do. They go in, and I know some of you watching and listening now, I'm sure you've been through this. I'm sure you have, where you become involved with a manipulative narcissist who will take you away from your family, who will isolate you, who will drive you away from your friends. Your friends aren't leaving you. You're leaving your friends. You're leaving your family. And so you're cut off and under their control and their influence. That's what manipulative narcissists do. It is classic. Now, what does upset me? I don't care what happens to them. Live in California with 27 bedrooms and bathrooms. I don't care. It's none of my business. But what I do think is so low is when we fight every single day, 24 hours a day on men's radio station to remove the stigma from mental health. And so many experts and people come on and people pouring out their heart. Just don't use it as a get out of jail card. Don't do that. Don't talk about suicide like, oh yeah, I was thinking, Phil and I have had the guests in who've attempted to end their lives. It's so serious stuff. It's so serious. So don't just use it as throw in the conversations to make people feel sorry for you when it's probably not true. Angela says she's a typical abuser, takes the person away from everyone they know. That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point that I'm making.
Hang on. That starts entering into a territory that we can't really prove. So we've got to be a little careful.
No, we can't prove any of it. Neither can she.
No.
But conversely, Phil, neither can she. If I said, you know what, if I knew that you had no right of reply, if you had no access, and I said, that Phil Dave is a total racist, that can't prove it, can't disprove it. But don't throw in.
But the point is that if she wants to go swinging around accusations, that's up to her. But we know better, and that's the main thing.
But we don't, because what manipulative people do is they pitch people against each other. Think about this for a second. I've thought about this a lot. And it is to do with mental health. It's not to do with this stupid interview and Oprah bloody Winfrey, as my dad always called her. Opera Winfred. No, Dad, her name's Oprah Winfrey. That's what I said. Opera Winifred. You pitch people against each other. And there are those who are saying, that it's a witch hunt against her. And that it's Diana all over. It's not Diana all over again.
And not Diana all over again.
It's not Diana all over again. This is just nonsense. And it's also nonsense. I'm sorry to say the media killed Diana. No, they didn't. A lunatic driving at 90 miles an hour, possibly intoxicated, possibly 90 miles an hour in a tunnel in Paris, where you should be driving at 25, 30 miles an hour, not insisting his rear passengers were wearing their seatbelts. That killed Diana. People on a scooter. This is rubbish. It always was rubbish. Ruthie Siegel from France. Manipulation removes people from their families. That's right. And Richard Todd says she knows full well that the royal family won't bite back, as they wouldn't stoop to her level. And you can read the rest of the comment yourself. It's so sad. My twins, who are 22 now, lost their mom when they were just 5. It's common knowledge, okay? And they're very tight. It would break they live separately, they have separate lives, they're very different people, but they are twin brothers, and they look nothing like each other, got completely different personalities, different interests, but they're very tight. They're always there for each other. I would be brokenhearted if one of them met somebody and forced a wedge between them, because I honestly think that Harry and William were very close. That sort of tragedy forges a unity. It's tragic that they've been forced apart, and that's what's sad.
Well, I just think, I often wonder, and I'm sure not the only one who thinks like this, I wonder what Diana would make of all of it. But who knows? I know that's
she wouldn't put up with it.
No, don't get me wrong. I know it's totally and utterly pie in the sky, and it's almost a ridiculous thing to say, but it's just the way.
It's not. It's a very valid thought. What would his mum, Diana, a very beautiful, and I met her a few times, beautiful woman, but extremely complicated, treated very badly initially. She was a kid. What was she, 19? Somebody's saying here, Diana was 19 when she entered the family. She was a 19-year-old, and she was being sold up the river there. And I think she was very naive, and then became uncontrollable. But an extraordinary woman, the most famous woman on the planet. An extraordinary woman. But I don't think she would have liked Meghan to have eclipsed her. But then her children would have grown up very different with a mom.
I don't see Meghan as eclipsing Diana at all.
Of course, no, in her head.
Can I just point out, in all seriousness, right? Let's see. I'd really, really like to sort of forget about talking about.
Let's forget. Let's move. Let's move on. Let's move on, guys.
But what I would like to talk about, but what I would like to talk about off the back of that is the anger that I'm seeing around. Whatever their intentions are in this world, whether or not it's to try and highlight specific causes, to try and change the face of the royal family. I don't know what their intentions are. I think we've got a rough idea from where we've been bang on. But all I know is that it seems to be making people more angry than anything else. Now, whether or not it is the individuals who are more traditionalists getting angry at the royal family, and in particular Meghan and Harry, for letting this happen in the first place, or they're getting angry because people are pro Meghan and Harry and they're getting angry with everyone else who's anti them. So it just seems to be causing a lot of tension when, frankly, I think there's enough in the world to deal with without having to worry about whether or not some money-hungry couple are trying to...
I wonder where you were going with that. I didn't think it was going to be the word couple.
Yeah.
Really avoided.
Almost.
I tell you what. Right, our listeners and our viewers, I've said it a long time. You've said it to Phil and I that you feel like a family. So, okay. the last year has been hell on earth. Let's not kid ourselves. It's really pushed everybody's mental ability to the limit for so many reasons. I don't even have to underline them. You know them as well as I know them. So when you're sitting thinking, shit, my income's disappeared. I don't know when I mean, if you're a musician or an actor or you've got a shop or whatever, my income's gone. The bills are still coming in. I got to feed the family, put a roof over the head, food on the table, pay the mortgage, pay the rent. I don't know when this is going to lift. If it lifts, will I have a career? All of these things. So when you're sitting in a 17-bedroom, 11-bedroom or 12-bedroom, multi-million pound mansion in California, and you're sitting there bitching and moaning, that's why people get angry. That's why people get angry. That's why. Maya, hi there. This is so good. Phil, read this. This is lovely news.
I feel immensely accomplished. Very recently, I successfully mustered in the realms of £12,000 for the NHS, although it entails me having to park my car at the hospital overnight.
What was he doing? Dogging? Why is that? That's a complete non sequitur. What does that mean?
That sort of counts as your own.
So you mustered. Did you fundraise? Let's just put this into English so an idiot like me can understand. Did you fundraise? Did you go on a walk or climb Everest or whatever you do, and get 12 grand for the NHS, which is fantastic?
I think
what's that got to do with the car parking your car?
I think what Matt is trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong here, sorry, very recently successfully mustered in the realms of £12,000 for the NHS. What I suspect he means is if he's parking in the hospital car park overnight, and however many nights he probably ended up spending 12,000.
He's saying he paid 12 grand.
I don't think that was necessarily an intensive.
He cracks me up. Nobody writes and speaks like he does. It's fantastic. The other day, yesterday, I was I stood up from my desk finally and took Ebony out for like my usual hour's walk just to stretch my legs and all. And so she can do her things, meet her friends, say hello, have a cappuccino, and then a dog bell. And I promise you, I was thinking how Maya asked for breakfast. I was walking along with my earphones in, just chuckling to myself, thinking, I wonder if he says, I would like a liquid heated to quite a high temperature, and then the bean of a particular plant, if you could crush it, and then put the particular liquid that has been heated. I don't know how he does it. Let's take 20 minutes to order a coffee. You still there? You dropped off. You've dropped off, haven't you? You've gone to sleep.
No, not at all. What I was going to say was, by the way, that I think, but first and foremost, we should actually remind people that you are listening to Men's Radio Station. It's the Daily Show with Russ Kane, him over there, and me, Phil Dave. And we are live with you until 1 o'clock this afternoon. We're talking a little bit about the mental health impact that the discussion around Harry and Meghan is having on everybody. Because honestly, it seems to be that the country once again is divided. You've got folk who seem to absolutely flipping love them versus those who can't stand them. And it seems to be causing quite a lot of anger. So the question is it making you angry? Unnecessarily so, especially in this day and age. And frankly, I do believe that we need to be sort of very aware that there's probably enough nonsense in the world to deal with without that. What I was going to say was, though, is off the back of a comment by Chrissy Holt, which I'm not going to read out because it's actually quite slanderous to say the least. And if you are looking at this Facebook feed and you can see the comment that Chrissy, I have actually done a bit of research into that very claim about Meghan Markle. And there are a couple of what I would describe as unreliable news source websites that claim that, but I can't find anything that factually states that she did. So as much as I don't like the individual, I'm not necessarily going to go standing up for her, but I'm also not going to have accusations hurled at her that I can't prove one way or another. So I really don't know if that's the case or not. From what I can see, doesn't look like it is, but I apologize.
Do you know what I love about Maya? He's come back. Go and read it out. It's terrific. Because I said, I wonder how he orders a coffee. He's such a good sport. You are fantastic out there, all of you. You're just amazing.
Maya,
amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. We never take it for granted.
May I burden you for? I love the way you get me to read this out.
No, because you've got the proper received pronunciation. Go on.
May I burden you for an oat milk infused mocha, incorporating into it a splash of your decadent caramel syrup as means of augmenting its enticing texture? I really don't like you right now. Good Lord.
Maya, by the way, there's no apostrophe in it.
Oh dear, whoopsie. Martin Allen,
a copywriter, always a copywriter. What can you do?
Phil, in truth, I don't care, says Martin, about them. My focus is on my family, my friends, the ones I love and trust. That's where my energy is on. And Martin, you're
right. He's right. He's right. Now, here's the thing.
I argue with that.
But Phil, I've got a genuine question. It's not me arsing around for once. He learns English watching Yoda.
Who the hell did the Yoda video, for crying out loud? Susie Dent.
Oh,
hang on,
clever he is.
Oh, do you know what? I think you said yoga. Sorry, Yoda videos.
Yoda.
Sorry, okay.
Wasn't Hunter great on Friday? Hunter, what a top James, what a top blooming guest. Guests on Friday were in sensation. Absolute sensation.
If you missed it, by the way, perfectly available to watch again at your pleasure. If you go to facebook.com/men's radio station, and then you will find right there the opportunity to watch Friday's show all over again. Terrific.
Here's a serious question for you. I've been trying to analyze it in what passes as my mind, and it's this.
Oh,
why?
I've misled. /men's radio STN, not /men's radio station. I do apologize. Facebook.com/men's radio STN. I apologize.
You had one job. I keep wondering, why does it make me so angry? I don't know. I don't know them. I'm never going to meet them. I don't care about them any more than they care about me. So why does it make me so angry? I think it's the injustice. I think that you're standing there and you're watching this nonsense unfold with horrible, obvious, step by step. You just knew what was going to happen. And every damn thing that I feared, and I've discussed with Phil, and I think with you, has happened. And I take no pleasure in that whatsoever. I'd rather I was completely wrong, but I wasn't. And I'm not the smartest, I'm not the sharpest knife in the cutlery drawer, but it's just why it's just being duped. I just can't bear it.
I think one of the reasons as well is that a lot of people, bearing in mind, so many are quite nostalgic. Okay, that is without a shadow of a doubt. Nostalgia is one thing that many people can cling on to that just somehow makes them feel comforted one way or another. If you think of the institute that is the royal family, by and large, that institution has remained pretty much untouched for a good number of years, certainly a number of decades, that's for sure. And with that in mind, to see somebody who is from, let's be honest, another country come along and start trying to reshape the institution that many of us peg that nostalgia to, it's offensive, quite frankly. Whatever anyone says about the comments about Meghan, she may find it offensive, but I believe, as someone who is incredibly proud to be British, I am immeasurably patriotic. So much. I mean, I can't tell you. I really do love the UK and what it stands for by and large. Do we get it right all the time? No, we certainly don't. But I do love the country.
Who does? But we give it a good go.
But my biggest bugbear is when someone, this was actually one of the reasons, sorry to go on a completely different tangent, but this is one of the reasons why I immeasurably disliked the European Union, is because for someone from another country to say how the United Kingdom should behave is an insult. The UK is a powerhouse. It has been an empire-running institution for many a century, which people may love or they may hate. We're capable of making our own decisions in this country, believe it or not. And I hate the thought absolutely hate in exactly the same way people don't like, normally from the same side of the political fence, people don't like it when people start butting in on other countries' businesses and telling them how to behave, such as Iran and all the nuclear side, all of that malarkey there. Okay. We get, or some people get very upset by that, right? People interfering and saying, look, don't tell other countries what to do, sort your own country out. And I agree with that. We are strong enough as a country to shape our own destiny. I really despise the thought of somebody who grew up in a different world, a different culture, a different area, stop telling the royal family how to behave. It's disgusting. And it's
what you shouldn't do. Don't dare talk about service. Don't. Because the Queen has given magnificent service since 1953. I don't think they lasted 6 months. It's a joke. So please don't try and dazzle us with talks about your service, because you've done nothing. Yes, Harry went to war. We'll not ever take that away, as did William. So can we not forget that? As, I dread to bring up his name, Prince Andrew, who flew Harriers in the Falklands.
Sorry, but I no longer care about what the royal family do or don't do. I have some respect for Harry as the man went to war and risked his own safety for others and all that. All I care about is my family and friends, acquaintances, and my own well-being. I don't get angry with the royals, as that would only be bad for me and won't change a thing. And Paul, that absolutely panders to what I have been saying for months when it comes to the anger that's come out of this pandemic. Stop getting angry about what you can't control. There is absolutely no point. Focus on your own world, the people around you, those who you care about, and it makes life a heck of a lot more bearable. There's no point of everyone trying to be a martyr and trying to change everything, because you're not going to do it. So just focus on your world, because for some reason that will actually mean that you'll probably be happier. That's one of the reasons why, in some weird way, despite the fact we're broadcasting now on Facebook and other social media platforms, and this is where all our comments are coming from, I would absolutely love to just walk away from social media. I don't want to know what people I barely have any contact with are up to. And I certainly don't want to know their opinion. And yet, that's exactly what social media does.
I can only dive into Twitter, do the stuff, a few jokes from me, do the stuff for Men's Radio Station, reach out to guests, reach out to organizations, etc., and get the hell out of Dodge. Cannot sit there. It's a cesspit. It's a cesspit. Martin Allen, why watch something that you know is fake and act? I love my crown, proud of my country and Queen. If you know it's going to pee you off, then turn it over and watch Borrow. Yeah, totally. But the thing is, we're trying to understand why we get angry, why using mental health as just some throwaway remark is low when people are fighting genuinely for their mental health, not from the lap of luxury.
All this year I'm off to sunny Spain. Viva España.
Chrissy Hole says, I agree, Phil. My German friend, I beg your pardon, said that the UK did the best thing. He hates the EU and says all the countries should leave and German economy is falling. He said EU is a dictatorship. She again goes on to say, my biggest worry is my daughter who is struggling to survive. I want her back here, but not possible yet. Well, Chrissy, with any luck, as soon as the vaccine is rolled out, and I really do believe that most countries will get their act together with it. And please don't sort of think of this, oh, not that long. But I believe within a year that most countries will get their act together as far as the vaccine rollout is concerned, if you think about it. Look how quickly the UK has managed what we've achieved.
It's been amazing. It has been terrific. It has been terrific. Yes, there's been some absolute disasters. And there's been some magnificence. And that's a little microcosm of life, isn't it? I really think the interview could not have come at a worse time. So much division already. Well, not to mention you got a 99-year-old man gravely ill in hospital. And then when people said, why didn't you delay it? And then everyone sprang, they can't delay it. It's in the schedules. They don't have any control. They have total control.
Let me
they
give you
absolute control. So let's just put that nonsense to one side.
Can I give you a little insight as to how much control there is? Okay, just for the record.
Yes.
Now, this may not necessarily have come direct from the Sussexes, But there is control, most definitely, because there were 3 clips released for the general media use this morning. And those clips are about just shy of 10 seconds each.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all we are allowed to use. So there are 3 clips, 10 seconds, a 2-hour interview, right? 3 clips of about 10 seconds long that the UK media companies have been told you can use that, and that's it. So believe me, there is control.
They pull the strings. Well, she does. He sits there.
I didn't play any of it this morning.
Well, now this is a very interesting thing. Phil, as you all know, as well as doing this, which I always thoroughly enjoy, and Phil and I are good friends as well. You wouldn't think so, but we actually are. But he does have a huge job as well. First thing in the morning, a huge job with a huge company.
But I have.
Were you under pressure? Was there a debate about whether to use the clips or not?
No. To be fair, that was very easygoing. It was primarily, if this is really not interesting, but it was primarily a decision made because I knew that the next program was going to play them quite soon after we'd finished.
No, that makes sense. No, that makes perfect sense.
But I didn't think it was necessary to repeat it that many times. But make no mistake, one of our main topics this morning was about them. So, and
which is why they love it.
No, but I do get a little bit angry because I think to myself that I'm part of the problem because I'm giving it oxygen. But it's a very, very strange, and this is exactly the same with this show now. It's a real strange dilemma because in one way you want to talk about what the audience wants to talk about because who wouldn't? That's a little bit like saying I'm going to swim against the tide and only a fool tries to do that. Then on the other hand, well, quite. Then on the other hand, you think to yourself, well, hang on a second. If I'm just encouraging people to talk about this, well, then guess what? There's more publicity in it. But unfortunately, it's kind of the way the world works is that we do. And it's been like it for a long time now. If you think about it, it really started under, I reckon, Britain voting to leave, voting to leave, sort of in the run up to voting to leave the European Union. There was this real stark polarization where people either wanted to talk about one subject and they were one camp or they were the other camp. It was as simple as
or you're Timmy Alexis Carrington Ward and you're just camp.
Well, quite. But the point is that if you think about it, that's how long now we've been going for in terms of just sort of getting to grips with one subject, and that's all we focus on.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting, and it's a pain in the ass. Now, what have we got here? Ed. Phil, why did they get all upset with James Corden then? Now, when you say they, do you mean the public or the Sussex? Who got upset with James Corden?
Oh, here we go.
Nothing.
Phil, it's very clear you don't know enough about how things work in biz in LA. Control goes with the money. At what point did I imply it didn't, Ed? But thank you for
completely with the money. You want to just follow the money.
Very much indeed for trying to make me look like I don't know what I'm talking about when I promise you I do. But anyway, Classy Amanda, how on earth
who is in the therapeutic arena professionally?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for reminding me that. How on earth was she not able to access mental health services considering the work she does in that field? She also could have accessed a number of private therapists. Yeah, it's true. They are very, quite rightly, loud about mental health and well-being. And it feels quite bizarre to make the claim that she had no support or had no access to any support.
Rubbish. It's just nonsense. It's complete nonsense. She picks up the phone and somebody comes along. Same as her dress designers and her makeup artists and her hairdressers. Somebody comes along. That's what happens. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's just nonsense. Sitting there at the top of a tower with armed guards at the door. I mean, come on, jeez, get real about this stuff.
Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
My mother's chimed in. She says, and I do, Ed. Harpo is Oprah backwards. To it.
Do you know, I never knew that till last week when I think your mum pointed it out. I always wondered, why was it called Harpo Productions? I never understood that. And of course, I think the thing that I'm going to be really very careful how I say this. All right. believe in my heart that Britain is not endemically a racist country. I do believe that. I do believe there are some appalling racists in it, and it has got exacerbated through Corbyn and through Momentum and through other things as well. So it's not just racist against the colour of your skin, it's racist against religions. Now, putting that to one side, in America, race is a huge issue. It's a much bigger issue in America than it is here. It just is. Honestly, it is. And of course, as Glassy Amanda says, the Americans have totally turned this into a racist issue. Twitter has gone mental. Yeah, because it's the easiest thing. It's a tin of paraffin, and it's so easy. Just throw a match.
But I think that's because we've created a day and age. I say we. I think that, the dreaded S word again, society has created a day and age in which it is far too easy to cry racist and suddenly you're a racist. And that's just not true.
But you can be disgusting at Bristol University. A man should have been fired on the spot.
The way I look at this is coming from a persecuted minority. If anything, right, I'd say that those who come from persecuted minorities probably have more rights to say what's racist, what's not. Okay. Now, before anyone starts, I know Meghan's heritage, and I'm well aware that some of her family come from a minority. But this is part and parcel of the problem, I think, anyway. I would actually sooner the term minority was abolished anyway, because I absolutely hate it. Do you have blood going through you? Yes, I do. Oh, then you're a human. Do you know what I mean? I mean, okay, fair enough. I recognize that obviously animals have blood through them as well, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean that you don't really want to go looking for things that divides us. You're probably better off looking for things that unite us rather than divide. And to start playing the race card because it is a convenient way of getting a low attack at somebody, what's the word I'm saying? A low swipe at somebody.
Yeah.
You just think, for God's sake, because then all that does is it undermines the time when people genuinely do have to go through racial abuse. That's all that does. It undermines it. So when people genuinely do have to receive backlash from racial abuse, and believe me, let me tell you, I've been there. I don't play the race card all the time. And before anyone says, oh, but you're white and you're a male. Yeah, I know I am. That's racist in itself. There's an irony for it.
Well, it's not. It's just more bullshit. Now, Ramsey says, don't blame Corbyn for racism. The far right have become emboldened since Brexit, and Ed comes back. But we do blame Corbyn. Let's never forget that, please. I do blame Corbyn and his outriders for a lot of it. And yeah, the far right got emboldened, but the far right were never going to get anywhere.
You know what?
They weren't ever going to get anywhere, not in the UK.
Here's a really wacky notion that an awful lot
here we go. Whoa. This is
again.
important. This is important. Ramsey, it wasn't Corbyn calling me
P-word
at school. But Ramsey, I have no idea how old you are. I don't know. All right. School is school. Did you get it all the time from everybody? Have you had it all the time as an adult? It's unacceptable. Please don't think I'm making any excuses. Look, me, I got sent away to boarding school at 9 to a church foundation school. Thanks, Dad. What fun that was for 9 years. So, I understand what it's like to be in a little minority of one.
But the thing that annoys me is that being picked on for one reason or another, whether it's religion, whether it's height, whether it's the color of skin, whether it is your background, whether it's the way you talk, whatever it may be, many people have experienced being picked on. And what I absolutely can't stand is the way that some people believe it's just them.
You got picked on. You changed school. Let's be clear and serious. You changed school 7 times. You got picked on at school 6 times.
Well, I went to
7 schools. Well, the bottom line is you went to 7 schools, right? Yeah. You got picked on. You got bullied, right? And you have never claimed it was for any other reason that you got picked on and you got bullied. The end. that not true? You have never, ever since I've known you, in the many years I've known you, you've never said, "Oh, it was because of it." You just said, "I got picked on, I got bullied, I changed schools, and this is how I got out of it."
I think there's a very simple philosophy in life: is that you can either let something get the better of you, or you can just look it straight in the face and rise up to it and get on with it. And look, I'd be lying if I didn't say during my school years it was hell on earth. It was horrible, but it's something I've not really been backwards about coming forwards on this show before. I've spoken about it openly. I don't need to repeat myself again. But the point is, you can either let something like that get the better of you, or you can just treat it as a life lesson and
get on with it. Move on. I did my census. You know, they were doing the census this year. You got to do the census by law, right? So the census envelope arrived, so you have to do it all online. And I did it, and it took a few minutes. It couldn't be more simple if you tried. I was just so curious at some of the questions. They seemed so peculiar. It was this whole. I hesitate before even going there, but I just do you identify as the person you were born? I'm paraphrasing it badly because I don't have it in front of me. But do you? Yeah, I still identify as a bloke. Yeah, that's what I do. There was just some very odd kind of. It just seemed, I don't know. Fine. I don't know what they get out of it. What do they get out of it? I don't know. Who's where? Where do you live? How many people? How many bedrooms you got? How many cars have you got? One. Oh, I love this. Glassy Amanda. My head of year stopped his blatant anti-Semitism openly after my East End father drove to school to confront him face to face. Oh, I love him.
Ramsey saying that.
No, stop. Phantom. I identify as a, excuse me? As a what female? I can't read that word out. I identify, let's just say, as a female, but Tesco chocolate cake thinks I'm a family of 4. When you get on the talking scales, Eve, does it just go, oi, one at a time? Get on the talking scales, Eve, does it say, oi, we're not taking coach parties today? There we go.
Eve, I'm sure you're perfectly trimmed. Don't
I'm
listen.
sure she's.
Now he's.
We just got a little picture of her face. We don't know.
I would
white feet. You do know what it came out as, don't you, Eve Phantom? You identify as a white female. It came out. She wrote because of bloody prescriptive and predictive text. I identify as a whore female. Put me down for 20 quid's worth. I got a spare half hour. I love it. White.
Ramsey says anti-Semitism exists in society in general, sadly, even among members of the Conservative Party. Now, you see that argument never watches with me.
But that's not an argument, Ramsey. Absolutely, of course.
What? You're absolutely right. Of course it does. It exists in every single strand of society. What doesn't exist is dealing with it in the way that Labour Party used to deal with it. It's as simple as that. You can put whatever argument you want to counterbalance it to say that, okay, well, hang on a second, Conservatives aren't innocent in all of this either.
No, they're not.
All right. Nobody is innocent of it. Nobody is innocent altogether, okay? You can go to different groups, you can go to different religions, you can go to different organizations, companies, whatever you want to look at, and nobody is completely innocent of making some sort of racial remark one way or another, possibly anti-Semitism, possibly other things. What is different is how you react to it. And the Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn reacted so appallingly, it was just unbelievable. So make no mistake, not suggesting for a second that anyone else is innocent per se, but I think we can all agree pretty badly handled given what was going on.
Ramsey says, I thought Eve meant she was a whole female as opposed to sort of 80% female, 20% Tesco's chocolate cake.
What?
Phil, by the way, I posted a picture of you as Mr. Hollowman, and you're the only person who didn't comment. Your mother loved it.
I just didn't really know sort of how to use my loaf.
Have you not seen it?
I have seen. I have seen. There's a whole lot of colour.
It made me laugh.
Talk about you are what you eat. Anyhow.
Have you had a post deleted? No. A post, what, on this? No. We haven't deleted a post on this.
Not as far as I know. Ramsey
we don't censor Ed. We don't censor this. It is what it is. We can choose not to read it out only because A, time or B, libel or whatever. But we don't censor it. Take stuff out.
By the way, Ramsey says with only 2 minutes to go, there's not enough time to discuss this. I'm afraid there's not even 2 minutes now. It's about 20 seconds.
Yeah,
but thank you very much indeed, one and all, for all of your comments and your interaction today. I know it got a little bit heavy for a Monday, but hey, do you know what? On the side,
and happy International Women's Day.
Absolutely. There's always Wednesday, so we'll see you midday then. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.